Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today we're talking about my 25 and 2025. Alright, so a little bit about how I choose my 25 and 2025. I know everybody kind of does it a little bit differently. Some people will choose a lot of new releases. Some people will do a mixture of new releases, some of their physical TBR books, some books that they're just really excited to get to. Is kind of how they create their list. My list, I like to do books that I am trying to get to, as in get them off my physical TBR. If I don't own them in December of the year before, then they can be added to my 2025, or my yearly TBR, I should say. So all the books that I am reading, I have had them from December, or from way before that. So I am trying to get through books that I've already owned, books I've already paid for. That way I can get them off my physical TBR. Now, some of the books that I have here are just titles, and they are just spelled out for me. If you pull this from the 2025 TBR, that's the book that you're going to read. But I'm also a huge mood reader. So with that being said, I also added in some authors that I would like to get to, and I have multiple of their books. So I can pull a Riley Sager or a Lucy Score or a Lynn Painter. And then I have multiple options here. I didn't pull every single option today that I could pick from. Some of them I did. But some of them I have multiple options behind me still, just because we would be here forever. Hi, Ryder. This is Ryder, my dog. He's probably going to make multiple appearances throughout my videos. So I'm just going to kind of jump right into it. I'm looking over here because I have a huge stack of books over here. I have them all written down here on my iPad so we can go through them together. All right, so the first book that I have here is one Kristen Hanna. So that's one of the ones where I can kind of pick what I want to do. So I have two here. This first one is The Women by Kristen Hanna. I am super excited to get to this one. I believe it's about a nurse in the Vietnam War. And I recently read The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna, and I absolutely loved that book. It was probably, I think it was my favorite book in 2024. Still to this day, I think about it just randomly. It'll pop in my head. I sobbed my eyes out. I had a really good time with it. Really sad time, but it was one that really hit me in my heart. So I'm really hoping, especially because this one talks about a nurse and I am a nurse, that it's really gonna resonate with me. So yeah, it's about a nurse. She goes to the Vietnam War, and that's really all that I know about it. I don't want to read too much into it because I would kind of want to go in blind with it, but I'm super excited. So that's one option that I have here. My next option is Firefly Lane, which I know is a Netflix series. I have not watched the series. I have not heard great things about the series, especially from Destiny Sidwell. She said it did not live up to the book itself, but I've heard wonderful, wonderful things about the book. I know it's about basically two best friends and kind of goes through their whole entire friendship growing up, and things like that, all the stages of their lives. So I'm also excited to get to this one. I will say these two, it's going to depend on when I pull from my prompt jar. I have a 25 and 2025 jar that I put all of these books in. So when I pull my Kristen Hanna prompt, it's really going to depend on what season I feel like we're in. I don't know why Firefly Lane, it gives me summer vibes, guys. Summer vibes. So if I pull it anywhere near the summertime and I'm feeling that vibe, I'm going to go with this one. Now, The Women, I feel like I could read anytime. But I'm definitely going to read this in the summer if I pull that prompt. All right. Number 2 is actually one that I have pulled for January. I have not read it yet, but I have pulled it for my January pick. And this is Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher. You can still see my little tab there where I pulled it. And this is the second book in the, oh gosh, Dreamland Billionaire series. I know it's about Declan and Iris. He's like supposed to be the next CEO. And then basically from what I understand is they're supposed to get married in order for him to get his inheritance. And so it's kind of like a fake marriage trope. So I'm interested to see. It's been a while since I have read the fine print, which is book number 1 in this series. So I'm interested to get back into this series and see what I think about it. The fine print was okay. I liked it. It was not my favorite looking back at it now. But I'm hoping that I'm going to really like this one. All right, guys, let's see. Number 3 is One Painter book. So I have 2 options for this one. Actually, I lied. I have 3. And the reason that I wanted to pull this out is just so that way you can see my options here. So I do have one, Betting on You. This is one of her young adult romances. Again, I'm not 100% sure. I'm really not good with the synopsis, guys. Synopses. Yeah, that word. I'm really not good at them or knowing what things are always about. But I know it's about coworkers. For some reason, I feel like they're on a plane. I don't know. I really don't know. But I am interested in getting into this one. I've read Better Than the Movies and The Do-Over, and I liked both of them. They weren't 5-star reads for me, but I did like them. So this is an option for a Lynn Painter book. I also have The Love Wager, which I've heard mixed reviews about. Basically, I think they're trying to... Okay. So they're trying to make a wager to see who can find true love first. The Love Wager. Okay. So I'm very interested in this one. If I had to say, this one's probably at the top of the list of what I would pick if I was to pull this today. Let's say I probably would pick The Love Wager. And then I have Writer's Interested. Happily Never After. This one I know is about objectors. Hi. Their job is to stand up and say, I object. So I think, from what I understand, they fall in love. And it does sound good. But I do think if I had to pick, I would probably pick The Love Wager. All right. What do we got next? Let's see. My iPad keeps on cutting off. One Lucy Score. Another range of options here that I have. I did not pull out everything that I could have read by her. I did pull out a few. This one by a thread. I've heard it very much gives Devil Wears Prada. Love that movie. So I am very interested in this one. Basically, the mom is the CEO, hires her. I don't know what her name is. Allie. And he just doesn't want her to work there. So it's kind of like Devil Wears Prada vibes is what I've heard. And I am actually very interested. I've heard wonderful things. I'm pretty sure Destiny rated this a 5-star. So I'm super interested to get into this one. So that's an option. I also have Rock Bottom Girl, which I haven't heard the most amazing things about, but it gives me very much spring vibes. So I feel like if I was to pull this prompt in the spring, I probably would go with this one. But it's about Marley. She is kind of down in the dumps, and she accepts a temporary position as a PE teacher and a soccer coach. But also, she has Jake Weston, it says here. He's the tattoo track coach, dog dad, and teacher of the year. Becomes her fake new boyfriend and alibi. He'll teach her how to coach if she teaches him how to be in a relationship. So, it's interesting to me. Like I said, I think it's the cover. It just gives me spring vibes. It's such a cute cover, like cotton candy. It's pretty. So I have that one as an option. And then one that I am super interested in, I probably would pick this one if I was to pull this right now, is Forever Never. Gives me winter vibes, of course. Maybe that's why I'd pull it, because it is winter. It's January. So this one's set out in Mackinac Island in the dead of winter. And basically it's he wants her and can't have her is the vibes that I'm getting from this. So this one looks good to me. And I'd probably pick this one if I had to say right now. But these are my options for Lucy Score. All right, getting out of the options area, we have the next book. And that is Wildfire by Hannah Grace. I loved Icebreaker, you guys. It was a 5-star read for me back in... not this past year, 2023, I believe is when I read it, and I loved it. Now, why haven't I picked this up? I don't know. But it's about these students from Maple Hills, the same series, and basically they're at a summer camp, and they're both, I think, counselors at a summer camp, And I just think that that sounds so much fun. This cover, oh my gosh, this cover is so cute. I'm sure you all have seen it already. But I'm super excited to get to this one and see if I love it as much as Icebreaker. All right, this next book I am dying to get into. I am so excited for it. Book number 6 is Saving Six by Chloe Walsh. I am so excited to get into this one. I've read Binding 13 and Keeping 13. This is following now Joey's story. This one's on the shorter side, and by shorter, hold please. By shorter, I mean almost 500 pages, 480 something pages. So it's on the shorter side for Chloe Walsh. But I'm so excited to get back into this world. I have completely annotated my Binding 13 and Keeping 13. They sit up there. They're so cute. My ombre covers. But I am really excited to get back into the Boys of Tommen series. I am so ready to be back with these characters. All right, the next one is one that I'm super excited about as well. And it is Heartless. This is the second book in the Chestnut Springs series. And it is Grumpy Sunshine, I believe. I believe she's like more sunshiny than him. All I know is that it's a grumpy single dad. And I'm excited about that. All I hear about is Daddy Cade. I'm ready to get into some Daddy Cade. Okay. The next book is one that is on my January TBR. I pulled this one this month, and it is The Bodyguard. Look at the spring vibes. I've got to get this off, y'all, but I'm going to tell you what. Not book of the month. Books A Million stickers, the bane of my existence. Why are they so stinking hard to get off? It is so aggravating. I'm going to have to take a blow dryer or something to it. I don't know. But I am really excited to read this one in January. And it's just giving all, aside from my ugly sticker, it's giving all the spring vibes, and I'm ready for it. And I'm really excited. I know that she's the bodyguard, and she's the one that's protecting him, which is not usual. It's usually obviously the other way around. So I'm super excited. They're kind of keeping it a secret. He's got a stalker. Very much my vibes. I'm very excited to get into this one, hopefully this month. All right, one of my favorite authors, Life's Too Short by Abby Jimenez. I have completed the Part of Your World series, or trilogy I should say, the ones that are out now, and I believe there's one more coming out in that series, and it comes out this year, and I cannot wait for you guys. Cannot wait. But this one is in one of her other series. I haven't read any of the other ones. I believe this is technically like book 3 in the Interconnected Standalone. But this is the one that really spoke to me the most. This is the one that this is the only one that I have from that series. Seems like it might be a little emotional talking about her mother and her sister not making the age of 30. I didn't really know that was part of this book. But Abby Jimenez knows. She is the queen of putting real deep topics into her books, but also making them so much fun. So I'm so excited to get into this one. All right, the next one, number 7, number 10, excuse me, is one Ashley Poston book. So I have 3 options here. I have The 7-Year Slip. I'm sure everybody and their mother has heard about this book. She inherits this apartment that goes 7 years in the past, and she finds a man in the apartment one day. So I'm excited to get to this one. This is totally an option. And then one that I'm super excited about. I think it's really the setting in this book that makes me really excited to get to it, and that's a novel love story. She ends up going on her annual book club's retreat. I think she's the only one that can end up going to her book club retreat when her car breaks down. And she finds herself in, it says, stranded in a quaint town that seems like it's right out of a novel, because it is. She ends up in her favorite romance series, Small Town. Hello. If I could end up in Chestnut Springs, if I could end up in Knock 'Em Out by Lucy Score, if I could end up in any of these cute small towns, sign me up. Sign me up. I have heard mixed reviews about this. I'm nervous to not love it as much as I'm hoping I will. But I am so excited to get to this. So this is top on the list. And then I have the Dead Romantics. I'll probably will only read this one if I pull this in spooky season, and we'll see. It says romance is dead, but this isn't what she had in mind. I think she falls in love with a ghost, maybe. Yeah, she has a ghost standing at the funeral parlor's front door, and handsome as ever, confused as to why he's there. So, I guess she falls in love with a ghost. But I will probably pick this up if it's a spooky season time that I pull this from my jar. If not, it's gonna be this one. All right. Number 11 is one of my January books, dun, 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 In the Weeds, by B.K. Borison. I read Love Light Farms. It's been a little while since I've read that now, but I am really excited to get back into this book. Again, I talked about this cover in my other video. You guys, any cover with this color, this terracotta, oh, speaks to my soul. So In the Weeds by B.K. Borison. I believe it's like an influencer. I believe he's the farmer, I think. But it's like an influencer romance. I'm really excited to get into this one, and I have heard good things about it. All right, my next one is one of those that I get to pick, and I have a couple options here. Actually, I have quite a few. It's one dark romance. So, of course, this comes to your mind, right? Butcher and Blackbird, serial killer romance, dark romance. I'm very interested to get into this series. I have the second book as well, but I obviously haven't read the first one, so I want to get into it so that way I can get that series going and get it off my TBR. So that's an option. I also have one that I don't hear like anything about. I think I've heard one person that I follow on YouTube ever talk about this book, The Lies We Steal. And this is the Hollow Boys series. I have only ever heard one person ever talk about this series. And I'm just so intrigued by it. First of all, it's a pretty edition. I believe it has, I thought I did. Yeah, like look at that. So I'm going to read a little chunk of the back to you, and I just think it sounds so good. I probably will end up picking this up this year. Let's see. It says Hollow Heights University in the somber seaside town of Ponderosa Springs, a college for prestige wealthy children to receive the highest education, a town drowning in treachery and secrets that become our damnation. But it wasn't the forest surrounding the grounds or even the mysterious hidden mausoleum that haunted me. It was them. The ones that lurked in the night, things so wicked, so twisted, so evil, they would become the rulers of my nightmares, the Hollow Boys. Y'all. I don't even need to talk about these other ones, because I'm going to tell you what, my dark romance is going to be this one. This sounds amazing, and I believe there's 5 books in this series, and it goes through all different characters, and I am kind of scared, but also very, very, very excited to get into this one. I also have a Sophie Lark book, Grimstone. This edition is so pretty. Look at my sprayed edges. Oh, she's pretty. And this one sounds good. It's about, she's gonna go flip a manor that is a little creepy. And she meets the hot doctor next door. So that one sounds amazing too. I may get to both of these because, whew, your girl is feeling the vibes. And then I have Gothicana. Ignore my sticker. This is also a dark romance, and it's about Varenmore, which I think is the college that they go to. Maybe he's the professor. I'm not 100% sure about this one. I don't know a lot about it, but guys, this isn't even a special edition. It's, first of all, it's got purple edges. Look at the inside. And then each chapter is literally stunning. That's the university map. Guys, look. Every single chapter starts out with a different picture like this. She's stunning. So I honestly bought her because she was pretty, but I am excited to get into this, and I'm very curious because I really don't know much about it. All right, moving along. We're trucking along here. Let's see. Next I have The Storied Life of A.J. Fickery, and I am excited to get into this. First of all, a book about books, a book about bookstores, a book about a bookseller, a book reader, a book author, whatever. I'm down. And this is, I I've never read anything by Gabrielle Zevin before. I know she wrote Tomorrow, Tomorrow, Tomorrow. I have not read that. It didn't really sound as interesting to me as this one does. So this is the first book I want to pick up by her. And if I love her writing, then I just may pick up that book as well. But basically, he's not the nicest, but he gets a mysterious package at his store and it changes his life. So I'm excited to read this. This sounds like a really cute palette cleanser. And also, it's called The Story Life of AJ Fickery. And look at one of the books in his bookstore window. It's his book. And that's so cute. I love it. All right, the next one, you're going to see a little bit of a theme here now. So kind of the first half of this video I talked about were my romances. And then the second half of this video is going to be, I think, all mystery thrillers, honestly. Yeah, mystery thrillers. Those are my two biggest genres. Oh, I lied. I got two fantasies on here because I'm trying to dip my toes in there. One of them you already know about from my January TBR, but I'm trying to dip my toes into fantasy. But the majority of what I read, a majority of my TBR is romance and mystery thrillers. So we're going to jump into that portion of the video. All right, Bright Young Women. I am so interested to read this. I actually started this on audio. And I was so into it, but I get very distracted with audiobooks. I don't know if this is just me, but when I start an audiobook, my mind wanders a little bit unless it's super good. So, although my mind was not wandering with this one, I just really wanted to read it physically because I was so invested. So invested. Now, why didn't I pick it up? I don't know. I got distracted. But I am so excited to read this. Basically, it doesn't flat out say it anywhere in this book that I know of, but it talks about, fictionalizes, but also she did research and things like that on Ted Bundy. And it talks about when he went to Florida State, which is also very close to home because I was born and raised in Florida and my family is a Florida State family. So it just hits very close to home, and anything serial killer, guys, interests me. I love to think about how they think, what makes them tick, what makes their minds work. I don't know, call me crazy, but it's fascinating to me. And it basically talks about the girl that survived and her story and figuring out who this is. And it goes up to Seattle and talks about when he went up there because he went all over, y'all, all over. And so I'm just very fascinated by this story and I cannot wait to get into this year. The next two books that I have are some young adult reads. So I am in the Natural series. This is book 3 called All In. So I have read the first two books. They're both really good. And I am excited to get back into this. This one is about some murders in Las Vegas. I think each of these, it follows the same characters, obviously, and kind of what they're going through, but it's different, I guess, murders or crimes to solve and things like that. So I'm really excited to get back into this. If I get to this one this year, which I'm hoping to, they're super, I mean, look at that font. It is a big font, quick to get through. I read the Naturals, I think, in one day. So I would love to actually wrap this whole series up this year, as well as the next one that I have, which is Good Girl, Bad Blood. I read A Good Girl's I read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and I enjoyed that one. Honestly, I didn't love it as much as most people do. I loved the series, actually. I thought the series was really well done. On Netflix, I actually really liked it. But I'm excited to get back into this, get back into Pip and Robbie, and kind of see where they're going from here. But I had a hard time getting through A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I'm hoping that this one I like a lot better. But I'm excited to get into this and finish, hopefully, this series out this year as well. All right, the next one I believe, let me double check, is a option read. So it is. So I have one Alice Feeney book. Now, you guys are going to say, Ariana, you're cheating a little bit. I promise you I'm not. I have Beautiful Ugly, which, if you know, this doesn't actually come out until January. So if I didn't use Book of the Month to get it, I wouldn't be able to read this year. But I got this, I got this in December, guys, 2024. It's a December pick. And I chose it, and I'm so excited to get into this. First of all, this cover with the font, look at it. Oh, she's pretty. I'm kind of confused, honestly. I'm excited to get into this, but I'm kind of confused, and maybe I want to be confused. Maybe I'm supposed to be confused. Maybe it's not all clicking. Okay, I don't know. But basically, he has a wife. She goes missing. He's a writer. A year later, he goes to this island to get back on track, and he sees a woman that looks just like his wife. I don't know why I'm confused, because that doesn't make sense. Maybe I'm thinking of a different book. Probably so. But anyway, this sounds good. So this is definitely an option. And then I have an older one of hers, which is Daisy Darker. This was an August 22 book of the month pick. And this is basically a family goes for Nana's 80th birthday party at her crumbling gothic house on a tiny tidal island. And they're back together. And then at the stroke of midnight, Nana's found dead. So, I'm interested to get into this one. It kind of gives me The Only One Left vibes, like the setting of it. Y'all, that book, The Only One Left, honey. That and The Great Alone, my favorite reads of the year. And just for the summer. Those are my top 3 of the year. And it gives me those vibes. So I'm really excited to get into this one. So that's definitely an option. Okay, and then the last Alice Feeney book that I have to talk about is Good Bad Girl. And this might be the one that I'm confused about from her. I think it's about a mom. Her baby is stolen. And a woman is killed, it says. And the 2 crimes are somehow linked. So, interesting. Not as interesting to me as the other ones, but I did get it. I think I got this on like a Barnes & Noble 50% off sale. So this is also an option for the Alice Feeney prompt. Alright guys, we're getting there. We're getting to it. I'm also super excited about this one. The Clinic by Kate Quinn. Basically, I believe the sister goes to rehab and she's like, something sketchy going on here. And she makes herself a patient. Is that not crazy? Super interesting to me. So I am excited to get to this one, and the setting of this is just, and there's something, I'm sorry, I've been with book of the month for a while now, but there's something about an aardvark book, the feeling of the cover, the feeling of the actual book, like that matte, like butter, honey, like butter. So I'm excited to get to this one. All right. Next is 2 options, and this is a Riley Sager book. So I have The Last Time I Lied, which this cover creeps me out, but nonetheless, I'm excited to read it because it basically, I think, is about 4 or 5 girls that are best friends at a summer camp, and then she returns as an artist, and basically it's a little sketch, a little sketch going on here. So I am excited to get to this one and see what I think about it. I think my mom is currently reading this one, and so I'll see what she says about it. And then the next one is a controversial one, guys. Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. First of all, this cover, it's going to get me every time. The neon green, the vibes of like the 90s neighborhood setting. Oh, so good. But I am interested to see what the inside is like. And basically, it's some 10-year-olds that are camping. They're best friends, and they're camping on his front yard, and basically he wakes up alone and someone slices him open with a knife. He was never to be seen again, and then 30 years later he returns and something is just off, and so he's really trying to get to the truth and figure out what in the world happened to, is it Bob? No, Ethan, Billy. So Ethan's trying to figure out what in the world happened to Billy that night 30 years ago. So I'm still excited to get to this one, even though I've heard mixed reviews. This next book is simply a book that I have had on my TBR for way too long, and that is The Night Swim by Megan Golden. And this one I think is about I thought she was a lawyer. Maybe not. But basically, she's trying to uncover connections between 2 cases. It's about a swimmer. And I believe that he possibly did something really, really bad to her sister. Yeah, her sister. And she's now a true crime podcaster. And it just sounds really interesting to me. So I'm curious to get into this one. And I've had it for forever now. This next one is an options prompt. And so I pulled a few here. And it is to get to a book of the month thriller. I have had these. I have plenty more book of the month thrillers than just these, but I have had these for a little while now, and these are the ones that I'm really excited to get to. So this first one is You're Invited. All I know is that it's about a wedding. It's at a wedding, and I am here for that. That just sounds so fun. The cover is so fun. Looks like an invitation. And I don't know who ends up dying, if it's the wife or the bride, excuse me, or the groom. But I am excited about it. I think it's the bride ends up dead or missing. Something like that. And I think she's being accused of the missing, kidnapping, murder thing. So this one sounds interesting to me. I also have this one, Listen for the Lie, which I thought about reading in January, but I didn't end up picking it up. And it gives me the same vibes as None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. And it's about two best friends. She's rumored to have killed her friend. And it's kind of about a podcast host trying to figure out what in the world done happened here. So, interested to read this one. This one is another one. I have heard really, really good things about this. Kill for Me, Kill for You by Steve Kavanaugh. And this cover is also super cool. Like, she's looking out the window. Cute. I'm a killer. I'm a sucker. Not a killer. I'm a sucker for a cute cover, if you can't tell already. And basically, this one is, you kill for her, she gonna kill for you. She will kill your worst enemy. All you have to do is kill hers. So there you go. But I've heard really good things about this one. It says something about Hitchcock. All as these storylines collide in this Hitchcockian, heart-racing psychological thriller. So I guess it's giving those Hitchcock vibes. Interested. And then this last one is a Rachel Price book. Not Rachel Price. It's a Holly Jackson book, but it's the reappearance of Rachel Price. And I'm excited to get into this one. Belle hasn't seen her mom. And basically, she's getting ready to do this true crime documentary. And her mama shows up. Like, mama, where you been? But anyway, it sounds good. And these are like my top picks for my book of the month thriller prompt. All right, y'all, sorry about the frame change multiple times if that has happened. I have had to get up and get my dog situated, and they just act in a fool. Anyway, I am so excited to get into this series. This seems like the cutest, coziest vibes. The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman, I believe, is how you say it. And I'm just so excited to get into this. I think it's like four or five of them. 4 unlikely friends. They meet in the Jigsaw Room weekly to discuss unsolved crimes, and they call themselves the Thursday Murder Club. So excited to get into this. It seems like the cutest thing ever. The next one is by an author that I'm excited to read more from, and that's Lisa Jewell. I'm excited to read this one, The Girls in the Garden. This cover is so cute. Oh my gosh, I love it. And I actually know nothing about this. I solely bought this for the cover. I'm not gonna lie to you. And I solely picked this for my TBR because of the cover. Again, not gonna lie to you. One midsummer night, during a neighborhood party, preteen Pip discovers her 13-year-old sister Grace lying unconscious and bloody, hidden in a corner of a lush rose garden. What happened to her and who is responsible? So, it sounds interesting to me. I'm excited to get to it. It's a pretty short read, so it'll be one that I can hopefully just fly right through. Alright guys, we have made it. We have made it to our fantasy reads. So I have Powerless. I know everyone and their mother again has heard of this book. Peyton and Kai, all the things. I'm just excited to get into this. I've heard amazing things about it. I've heard it's Hunger Games meets like, oh, what's that book? Red Queen, maybe? I'm just super excited to get into this one. Excited to find out about Peyton and Kai and the trials and the games and the elites and the ordinaries, and you already know. I'm excited to read this one. Fearless comes out, which is book 3. That comes out soon. I also have Powerful, the novella, and I also have Reckless, the second actual book in the series. So I need to get on this. And then last but not least, y'all already know it's on my January TBR, Fourth Wing. I have been putting this off. All my friends have told me to read it. Girls I work with have told me to read it, that it's so good. And I'm excited to get into it. I'm definitely reading that this month. And then I also have Iron Flame somewhere. Oh, there it is. It's over there. I have Iron Flame, and then I've already pre-ordered Onyx Storm. So I'm excited to get into this. That way I can get into the series and figure out what the hype is about. And that's it. Y'all, that is my 25 and 2025. I have books everywhere now. But I am so glad that you guys joined me for this video. I'm excited to get into these reads. and wrap up some of my books on my physical TBR. So if you guys like this video, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, all the things that you already know how to do, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.